Hello everyone and welcome to the video. And in this video we're going to be talking about inspirational bipolar figures. Musicians, actors, athletes that in many ways defied the illness and kicked it up the arse. So we'll see how it goes. Because you know what I'm like, I waffle on and 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 on. So we'll talk about 4 inspirational bipolar figures and see how it goes. So yeah, the first bipolar figure we're going to look at is probably one of the most unique, colourful, charismatic pop stars of the 1980s. But then again, probably the most colourful, charismatic figure in pop history, really. I mean, quite frankly, nobody like him that came before him, or well, people have tried to imitate his look over the years, but you know, I'm looking at you, Johnny Depp. You Captain Jack Sparrow with your beard and your pirate outfit. Oh. So, have you guessed who we're going to talk about? No? Try again? No? Adam Ant. Oh, yes. Good old Adam Ant. So yeah, what can I tell you about Adam Ant? Just absolutely, just a brilliant, energetic enigma of a performer. Just pretty much made the early 80s golden. You know, one of the just fantastic songs. Stand and Deliver, Ant Music, Doggy Dog, just incredible, well-crafted pop songs, you know, and he was a pin-up. The guy was voted sexiest man at one point. Back, I can't remember what year, but he was. You know, he was a pin-up, but he didn't start out as a pin-up. He started out very, very humble beginnings. He was into his art, and then he got into the music, and he was in a band called Berserker Joe. Now, Berserker Joe, apart from being named after American chewing gum, that band played St. Martin's College. Can you guess who the artist is? God save the Queen. I wanna be Anarchy. Go on. Say another word. You dirty bastard. You dirty fucker. Have you guessed? The Sex Pistols. Yes. Berserker Joe played with the Sex Pistols on the Sex Pistols' first gig. And the band pulled the Sex Pistols after, I think it was 20 minutes. Because they were so probably loud, and at the time probably quite terrible, really, but they were just starting out. And Adam Ant was like, his life changed after that moment. He was like, this band are brilliant. They're chaotic. They don't give a fuck. They're a breath of fresh air. You know, a complete breath of fresh air from all that prog rock and and disco, just complete breath of fresh air. So, of course, Adam Ant formed Adam and the Ants in around about 76, 77, and early Adam Ants is a completely different animal to the pop, the kaleidoscope pop of the 80s. The image, he'd wear white makeup and wear like leather and bondage gear, and he'd sing about S&M and bondage and kinky sex. And of course Jordan, the punk, who bloody hell, she scared everyone back in the day. Her look, it scared people. Because I heard a story that Jordan had to ride first class on the train, always, because people were frightened of her. They were frightened of her look, of her spiky hair and her bondage gear, and just completely. I mean, you look at it today, it's not laughable, but it's like people were frightened. They were frightened by her look. So she'd have to ride in first class so she wouldn't get bothered or harassed. Just crazy. So yeah, she was going out with Adam Ant, and she was a manager. And there's great footage of early Adam and the Ants in a film called the punk film Jubilee by Derek Jarman. Now that film it's a very, 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 I don't know, it's very odd. It's not a sort of film I didn't sit through it all. It's not a sort of film I enjoyed, really. It's just very like, sort of like a ruder version of a Carry On film, just tits out everywhere, and you got Jordan doing a version of Rule Britannia, and she's got a fork, and she's like, and it's simulating that she's masturbating with it. It's just bizarre. It's just no story. It's just tits and tits. I mean, you know, tits is fine, like, but you know, it's got to have a story, you know. But there's great footage of Adam and the Ants doing a song "Plastic Surgery." Just brilliant. And I think they do, yes, Deutsche Girls. And here's Jordan. Here is Jordan. God blimey. Yeah, carry on, Jordan. So yeah, Deutsche Girls, I think was, Adam, their first single. One of the first ones, and young young I can't say it. Parasians is an early single as well. So yeah, and of course they recorded the first album, 1979. Dirk Wears White Socks, and completely different from their follow-up album. Kings of the Wild Frontier is just, I would say, gothic. It's a very dark, brooding, moody sound. It's like car trouble. Great song, really good song. And I haven't listened much to that album. I really should listen to that album, because it's just a classic example of the old Adam and the Ants. And then, of course, all the members of that particular Dirk Wears White Socks lineup ended up in Bow Wow Wow. Malcolm McLaren stole basically Adam Ant's band off him to form Bow Wow Wow. Now, I am not exactly a big fan of Bow Wow Wow. You know, C50C, I know, go! C30C, I know, go! It's like, go wild in the country with snakes in the grass. It's like, oh, I want to get the rope out. Oh, God. So, yeah. So Adam had to assemble a new band, and he got Marco I can't say his name. Oh, it's an Italian name. But he got him, great guitarist, and of course, the classic Adam and the Ants, the classic pop era of Adam and the Ants. Kings of the Wild Frontier, fantastic album. It's one of the greatest albums of the 1980s. Just absolutely incredible. Ant music. Oh, Dog Eat Dog. Ants Invasion could almost, to me, it sounds like an Elastica song or a Blur song. It really does. It sounds completely ahead of its time. That very off-kilter guitar sound and the double percussive sound, brilliant. You know, coupled with the sort of cowboy western guitar sound, and of course the image. You know, just a great pop record. Ant music, brilliant, just brilliant drums, the double drums. Just nobody was doing that sound at the time. Just completely unique. Just completely unique. And Stand and Deliver, the follow-up album, I'm just not a big fan, to be honest. I think he became a bit too silly, and a bit whimsical, like Ant Rap and Goody Two Shoes. I just not a big fan at all. And his solo career didn't, unfortunately, at that particular time, he didn't exactly rocket into the stratosphere, did he? Which is a shame. Real shame. And he struggled for years, and of course with his bipolar, he just, he struggled. He really did struggle for years. I mean, 2002 was just a horrible time for Adam Ant. Where his daughter got threatened, and he just went apeshit with a gun, and he had to be sectioned. It was just, and he didn't look well for ages. And like he said, he was taking the medication. He said he didn't write songs for years. And that must have been a hell of a blow, because, I mean, when you're bipolar, you want to keep creative, and if you're not being creative, it does bring you down. I mean, I like with myself, with my bipolar, I just like to keep creative, just to, and he'd been struggling since his early 20s. He got diagnosed in his early 20s. He took a he took a pill overdose in his early 20s, and he had a early marriage which didn't work out. Like, because probably his moods, it's like, it's not easy to live with somebody with bipolar. It's just not. It just isn't. It's just your moods. You're either you're either too happy or irritable, or you just bring everything. You bring everyone down then with your negativity, and it can become a quite burden. But for Adamant, he got through it. He got through it, and he made a hell of a comeback in 2013 with the Gunner's Daughter album. Just brilliant album. Hell of a comeback. Fantastic album. Cool Zombies, brilliant. Vince Taylor about the British rock and roll is brilliant. Cradle Your Hatred, brilliant. What's that one about the psychiatrist? Shrink. Who's a Goofy Bunnies about Malcolm McLaren. Just absolute fantastic album. And he's also got a documentary out as well, which I haven't seen, but I'd hope to see that. Really, because I seen it in Spillers, Cardiff, and I thought, should I get it? I think I will get it, because just a great, I'm really happy, for Adam, that he's making his music, and he's touring, and he's keeping busy, and that's how he deals with his bipolar, keeping creative. So yeah, Adamant, great inspirational bipolar figure. So yeah, as we're talking about the punk era, we're talking about another punk trailblazer, Styrene, a great female punk trailblazer, just part of one of the greatest bands to come out of the punk era, X-Ray Spex. And her life also changed where she saw the Sex Pistols in Hastings Pier with Budgie. Wow. Welsh metal rockers Budgie and the Sex Pistols are supporting you. God blimey. God, I can't imagine. I bet Budgie were frightened for their PA. I bet they were frightened. I bet they were absolutely frightened for their equipment. I bet they were, I can imagine. Just a strange combination. Budgie, heavy metal, and Sex Pistols punk. But that would have been a gig to have seen, and Styrene seen it. And of course, X-Ray Spex. And he gave us one of the greatest albums, Germ-Free Adolescence. Just absolutely incredible album. Her voice just raw, unfiltered, and absolutely explosive. Songs like "Oh Bondage Up Yours," basically rallying against punk, saying, I ain't wearing that bondage shit, and you're not spanking me. I'm going to wear my own clothes. Because a lot of her lyrics were like anti-fashion and anti-consumerism. I mean, she wore braces, and she was half Somalian, and she wore bin liners, completely bucking against the so-called pretty female image, completely bucking it. And you watch her in interviews, like on the Australian music program Countdown. Incredibly shy, but so charming and intelligent. She knows what she's talking about. There's no pretentiousness with her. Just, the guy's like asking, what's this about? She says, I just get on with it. I just get on with my music, and that's it. And Germ-Free Adolescence, you need that in your record collection. because it's an explosive album. It is just incredible, the songs on there. Warrior and Woolworths, During Free Adolescence, Obsessed with You, Artificial. It's just great, great songs. Just great, 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 great songs. And I can't imagine female punk bands without Polystyrene. I just can't. I can't imagine Beth Ditto without Polystyrene. I can't imagine the Riot Girl scene, the 90s, without Polystyrene. Just completely blew down the door. And I'm going to say it. In my opinion, punk liberated women musically. Oh yes, it did. It did. Because before that, it's like Viv Albertine, the guitarist out the Slits. Great. She got a great book out. She said in a book that she couldn't inspire to be any guitarist at that time because a lot of the male guitarists were predominantly male. So she was like, I'm going to forge my own sound. And she did with the Slits. Incredible punk band, female punk band. You know, their fusion of punk, punky reggae. Oh, brilliant. The Raincoats, with their bizarre, demented violin, post-punk, jazz style, just fantastic. They just did, because with the punk scene, it didn't matter what you were. It didn't matter if you were a woman. It didn't matter if you were black. It didn't matter if you were gay. It didn't matter if you were a lesbian. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. They all came together and they just formed such great bands. Incredible bands. I know, and Polystyrene just, you know, oh, just love her to death. You know, and it's unfortunate that X-Ray Specs only made one album, because after that she retired for years. She became Harry Krishna for years, and she did come back. She did make a comeback album in 2011, but unfortunately she died of cancer after making the album. Just lost a gem there. You know, really lost a gem, and she didn't get diagnosed with bipolar until 1991. Because I heard one story. She nearly threw herself into a truck. I don't know if that was a suicide attempt or not, but because I think I read a story as well somewhere that John Lyne said that Polystyrene was like, she was very manic, very wiry, you know, and full of energy, you know, and yeah, just that's what we like, you know, full of energy, you know, people can't keep up with us, you know, we're like this, and they're like, everyone's like, oh my god, you know, just incredible. And there's a documentary coming out on Polystyrene this year, I hope, and I'd love to see that, because just, you know, brilliant innovator. You know, there's nobody like Polystyrene, and never will be either. Just absolutely incredible. So Polystyrene, brilliant. The next person. I think we'll go backwards from the punk era into the sort of proggy, sort of space rocky psychedelic era. So yeah, we're going to be talking about next a guy that quite frankly should be more well known. Robert Calvert. Best known for his time in Hawkwind. So yeah, Bob Calvert. So yeah, Bob Calvert, originally from South Africa, came over here. I think he lived in the Margate area and fascinated with poetry and science fiction and World War One uniforms and stuff. And I think he'd done a poetry reading at a Hawkwind gig, and he ended up joining the band in 1971. And he wrote Silver Machine. Yes, he wrote Silver Machine. And I always thought it was about a time machine. No, it's about a bicycle. It was about his own personal bicycle. Just incredible. And he does a great version of that at the first Glastonbury in 1971. Now, he did do a version at it's on the Greasers Truckers Party, but unfortunately his vocals were out of tune, and I think at the time he was going through a breakdown. His own mother said every 6 months he'd just have a breakdown. He'd put his army uniform on, march about 40 miles and put himself into hospital, and he was quite pissed off that the band took his vocals off, and they were like, "Who should we get to sing on this song?" They tried everyone, and then of course Lemmy done it in 2 takes, and a hit song is born. And Hawkwind for a while were pretty big until Urban Gorilla, which is a Bob Calvert led song, which is a fantastic song. In many ways, I see Urban Gorilla as a precursor to Anarchy in the UK, in my opinion. And unfortunately, at the time, it had to be stocking the record, because at that time in the early 70s there was the IRA. And of course, there was an IRA bombing at that particular time in London at the time the single was released. So they had to stop stocking the album. And of course, Nick Turner, the saxophone player of Hawkwind, he tells a great story. He said he had the bomb squad ripping up his floorboards looking for bombs. It's like the lyrics go, "I'm an urban gorilla, I make bombs in my cellar." Just, And of course, Bob Calvert come up with the Space Ritual tour. He come up with the concept, and Space Ritual, just a fantastic tour for Hawkwind at their commercial peak, and maybe at their creative peak as well. Because Space Ritual is a fantastic live album. All Gone Accumulator by Bob Calvert is just, for me, it is a fucking sexy song. It's just raunchy. It's just that song to me is just pure sex. It just is. It's just, whoa, I want to take all my clothes off, which I do that quite a lot. So yeah, and then he left for a while to do his solo projects, Captain Locklead and the Starfighters, which is sort of like a part comedic hard rock concept album about World War One, and the right stuff off that is just brilliant. I've recorded me dancing to that song. I have, and 3 people I liked it, and I'm thinking, what's the matter with you people? Are you crazy like me? Crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, and then he joined Hawkwind back August 75 at the time. Well, when Lemmy had been sacked, and Bob Calvert said himself, just big mistake getting rid of Lemmy. But at the end of the day, If you hadn't been sacked from Hawkwind, we wouldn't have had Motorhead, would we? So, just brilliant. And in many ways, I do like the Bob Calvert led Hawkwind from 76 to 78, 9. It's just, they completely reinvented themselves into the new wave era. Because you listen to Quark, Strangeness and Charm, a lot of the tracks, they sound like what XTC would do. That quirky keyboard style. And just, to me, Bob Calvert's just a genius songwriter. Spirit of the Age. But an Android replica. Brilliant. Uncle Sam's on Mars. It is an anti-imperialistic song. He's saying, well, right, we've fucked up Earth. Right, we're going to go to Mars now to fuck that up. Just genius. And Death Trap. What a buzzsaw of a song. Really, really punky, really edgy. In many ways, it reminds me of a Buzzcocks song. I can imagine the Buzzcocks covering Death Trap. Just brilliant. Just Quark, Strangeness and Charm, the Hawk Lords project, and PXR5. Just brilliant. Hawkwind, just fantastic. Brilliant. I love that era. Just fantastic. Underrated. Absolutely underrated era. Because they completely... a lot of they are space rock, but a lot of the prog rockers, they were struggling. Like, Yes, we're struggling. ELP was struggling against punk, But Hawkwind, just completely... they were big influence to punks anyway, so they were like... just completely forging, completely, reinventing themselves. And I just wish they kept onto Bob Calvert longer. But then, of course, his mental health, it would just go up and down. You read one story that he had a breakdown in Paris, and they left him. They just left him in the road. He was out of man. He just left him. Just he would get so manic with his ideas, he'd hyperventilate. He'd froth of the mouth. Because Harvey Bainbridge, bass player around the time of the Hawk Lords, he said the first initial meeting, they'd be talking for hours all night about his ideas. Just a tortured, troubled genius. Just genius. And sadly, he died in 1988 of a heart attack. Just a shame. Because he lost a incredible, unique, lyricist. Just, very, just absolute shame. 30 years this year, just shame. But, for me, his legacy lives on. So, Bob Calvert, brilliant. Wow, 33 minutes. Oh, I'll have to keep this. I'll try and keep this short, but for this woman, I don't think I can keep it short. So yeah, we're going to talk about Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. Just part of one of the greatest franchises of all time, Star Wars. Princess Leia, just one of the greatest characters in film history. Princess Leia, just feisty, badass, take no prisoners attitude, just, a strong, feisty woman, really. And the chemistry she had with Harrison Ford, you look, it's just magical. It just is. It's just magical to look at, and just some great. Not just I mean, she's done other great roles as well. I mean, I love her in Blues Brothers as the mystery woman. She's just about 20 lines of dialogue in it, and she's just badass in that. She gets a rocket launch and she blows up the hotel with Jake and Elwood in it. Oh, just brilliant. Just, just, just brilliant. And you watching interviews, she's just so, you know, it's just so heartwarming. She's just so likable, so charming, and just, you know, just it brings a smile to my face. Just so infectious. She is, and just just incredible. You know, in many ways, the poster child for bipolar. I mean, one of the first ones to really come out, you know, and open up about illness. You know, she wrote so many great books, which I really need to read. Really need to read. Just, you know, and so incredibly funny and witty. She's like with Stephen Fry. She said, "Steve, you got it all." And he was like, "What do you mean, Carrie?" "Well, you're gay, you're Jewish, and you're bipolar. How can you fail in Hollywood?" Just, oh, just brilliant. And when she passed away, oh, I cried my eyes out. I cried my eyes out for hours. Just, oh, it was just a terrible loss. I mean, 60 is no age. It's no age to go. Considering you only hear once, it's no age at all. And I can't imagine that her cocaine addiction helped her heart. Because before she was diagnosed, she was addicted to cocaine. Because I read it in a bipolar book, and it talks about celebrities with bipolar. And he said on the set of Empire Strikes Back, she was just addicted to cocaine. You know, self-medicating. I mean, I've done that. I've self-medicated, not on drugs, but you know, on chocolate or ice cream and drink. You know, it's not nice. It's not good. It's just not good to self-medicate. You know, it makes you worse. It does make you worse, and you know, just you know, a very huge, humongous inspiration to anyone with a mental illness. Just, you know, I'm, you know, the world is a lot. It's less joyful without her. You know, it's just, uh, just miss her. You know, it's like when I knew Star Wars, The Last Jedi. I thought every time she came on the screen, I thought I was going to burst into tears. Because I am a big softie, really. May look hard, but I am a big softie. I really am, and just, you know, just a great, beautiful human being. Just brilliant. So yeah, I'll do two honourable mentions. Boxer Frank Bruno, great guy, inspiration, and singer Emily Autumn, another great inspiration. So yeah, that was inspirational bipolar figures. Who knows? I might do a second part. You never know. If you can put up with another 40 minutes of me talking. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.